Jason Carter had always lived paycheck to paycheck, grinding away at his dull office job and dreaming of anything more exciting. He never expected that more exciting would arrive in the form of a letter from a law firm he'd never heard of. Mr. Carter, it is our duty to inform you that your great-uncle Bernard Carter has passed away and named you his sole beneficiary. You are now the owner of the Carter estate and all associated assets. Please visit Carter Manor at your earliest convenience. Jason frowned. He didn't remember any great-uncle Bernard. And what was this about an estate? Still, curiosity got the better of him. A few days later, he found himself standing in front of a Gothic-style mansion, its spires stretching into the stormy sky. The lawyer, a stiff man named Mr. Langley, greeted him at the entrance. I must disclose that your great-uncle was involved in, let's say, unconventional research. As his heir, you inherit not only his wealth but his discoveries. Jason barely had time to process those words before he was led into a high-tech lab hidden beneath the mansion. There, in a massive containment pod, floated a woman. No, an alien woman. She had luminous violet skin, silver hair that floated weightlessly, and piercing golden eyes that snapped open as soon as Jason stepped closer. The pod hissed open, releasing a swirl of mist, and she gracefully stepped out, standing before him. You are my new bonded partner, she declared in a melodic voice. I am Xyra of the Zeltharian people, and you are now responsible for me. Jason blinked. Excuse me, what? Mr. Langley cleared his throat. Your great-uncle discovered Xyra's crashed stasis pod years ago. His research revived her. However, according to her people's laws, she is now bonded to his bloodline. That means you. Jason ran a hand through his hair. So let me get this straight. I just inherited a mansion, a fortune, and an alien girlfriend. Xyra's golden eyes narrowed. I am not merely a girlfriend. I am a warrior and scientist of my people. And by our laws, you are now my partner in all things. Jason gulped. Oh boy. In the weeks that followed, Jason learned just how much his life had changed. For one, he was now absurdly rich. Bernard's investments and patents had left him with more money than he knew what to do with. The mansion had a full staff, including a robot butler named Clive, and its underground lab was stocked with alien tech decades ahead of human understanding. But the most bewildering part of his inheritance was Xyra. She had incredible strength, a mind sharp enough to calculate complex equations in seconds, and a warrior's reflexes that made Jason feel like a fragile twig. She also had zero understanding of human social customs. Why do you consume burning liquid in the morning? She asked one day, watching him sip coffee. Because I need caffeine to function. He scoffed. You are inefficient. I will modify your biology to improve your energy levels. No. Jason waved her off. Humans don't like being modified. Xyra huffed but relented. Still, she took her bonded partner duties seriously. She insisted on training him in self-defense, testing his intelligence through riddles and logic puzzles, and oddly enough, ensuring he ate proper warrior meals, which turned out to be a mix of human cuisine and protein-rich alien fare she prepared using Bernard's technology. Despite the insanity, Jason found himself growing fond of her. Beneath her warrior exterior was a being who had lost her home and people. He started to see her not as an obligation but as a friend, and maybe something more. One evening, as they walked through the moonlit gardens of Carter Manor, Xyra turned to him with an unreadable expression. Jason, I have studied your customs. I understand that romantic attachments among your species require gestures and expressions of affection. Jason nearly choked on his wine. Yeah, that's usually the case. She tilted her head. Then I wish to engage in such expressions. I find your presence agreeable. His heart pounded. Are you saying you like me? Xyra nodded. You are weak but adaptable. Your mind is sharp even if your body is lacking. And you are kind. I admire these traits. Jason grinned. You sure know how to flatter a guy. She frowned. Was that not a sufficient compliment? He laughed. No. It was perfect. They stood there for a moment, staring at each other under the stars. Then, in a surprisingly hesitant motion, Xyra reached out and took his hand. I do not know if I will ever return to my people, she admitted. But if I am to be here, I am glad it is with you. Jason squeezed her hand. Me too. Just when Jason was adjusting to his new life, everything took a sharp turn. A spaceship appeared above Earth. The Zeltharian Empire had come for their lost warrior. Xyra's expression was grim as they stood in the mansion's observatory, watching the glowing ship descend. If they find me unbonded, they will take me back against my will. They do not accept outcasts. Jason's gut twisted. But you are bonded, right? To me. She hesitated. Only if I claim it before the Emperor's envoy. If they do not believe me, I will be taken. Jason clenched his fists. Like hell they will. When the Zeltharian delegation arrived, their leader, a towering armored figure named Commander Vecker, sneered at Jason. This human is weak. You would dishonor yourself by binding to such a frail creature. Come with us, Xyra. Jason stepped forward before Xyra could reply. She's not going anywhere. Vecker's laughter was sharp. And how will you stop me, human? You are nothing. Jason smirked. You really think so? Because last I checked, I inherited all of Bernard Carter's assets, including his research, including his weapons, and his connections with some very powerful governments. If you try to take Xyra, I promise you, Earth will fight back. Vecker's expression darkened. He studied Jason, then Xyra. Finally, he let out a displeased snarl. If you truly claim her, then prove it. Xyra turned to Jason. There is a ritual. A declaration before witnesses. Jason took a deep breath. Then he took her hands in his and said, loud enough for all to hear. I, Jason Carter, claim Xyra of the Zeltharian people as my bonded partner. She is not a prisoner. She is not property. She is my equal and she stays with me by her choice. Xyra's eyes widened. Then slowly she smiled. I accept. The air shimmered around them as a faint golden mark appeared on both their hands, Zeltharian energy binding their declaration. Vecker scowled. So be it. But know this, human. You have made an enemy of the Empire. Jason didn't flinch. Good. That makes two of us. As the alien ship disappeared into the night, Jason turned to Xyra and grinned. Guess that makes us official. He smirked. Indeed. And then for the first time she kissed him.